Somebody talking about some BTS fell off. Man, what the? So we gonna settle this once and for all. A lot of the times, whenever an artist start doing really, really good, a lot of people will say, I miss your old sound. You fell off. You went mainstream. And today we gonna basically be deep diving into why BTS not only did not fall off, but they are one of the best artists in the world. Without further ado, let's get to the video.
No matter which kind of music you listen to, you've most probably heard these phrases. These artists fell off. They've gone mainstream. They are not the same. I miss their old sound.
Dang.
This is a pretty common narrative applied to most music artists, and the biggest group in the world is not exempted from this criticism. Change in music is very rarely welcomed because, as you can see, these phrases always come with a negative connotation. This phenomenon is very common because change is uncomfortable. People resist change because it takes us out of our comfort zone. But change is human, and artists are human too. This is more obvious with the artists who are very connected to their art and their artistic decisions, because their changes of opinion, lifestyle, or artistic preferences will be reflected in their art.
Nah, facts. I always hear this saying, and it's been something that's, on one hand, it irked me, but I also understand why people say that. And really, they don't necessarily think that the person changed or fell off. They just miss the memories that they had with the music whenever they heard it for the first time, whenever they experienced it for the first time. And you really, as a fan or somebody who consumes content, you really have to appreciate those moments, because those people are going to evolve. Those people are going to go through different things in their life, just like how you aren't the same person when you were 5 as you are when you're 10, as you are when you're 20. The same thing happens when it comes to art. You grow, you evolve, and you develop, and your art is going to reflect that, because art is just a reflection of who you are and what you're going through at that stage in your life. So that saying that you fell off, or you not the same, or you mainstream, obviously, bro. Obviously, the thing is, are you willing to grow and evolve with the artist? Are you willing to actually try to, soak in the part of life that they in? Are you actually going to take the time to hear them out? Understand where they're coming from? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Do y'all feel like artists can fall off, or you feel like artists change, or do you feel like they just evolve? Sometimes I do think that artists definitely, let the fame get to their head and they become not as relatable as when they were, a struggling artist, or when they were on the come up, because whenever you on the come up, you got a different type of hunger than whenever you achieve something. But that's human nature. Everybody who achieves something not gonna have that same hunger as when they was actually starving, when they was having to go to that 9 to 5, because they not in that position no more. So I just think the issues become different. But I think that artists can still find a way to, not only connect with the fan base, but talk about real life things, such as, relationships and, other things that they got going on in their life. I think it just evolved over time. And while some artists do, let it get to their head, I think other artists do a good job of just, expressing how they feel and expressing their relationship with their art through their art.
These changes will be reflected in their sound. In K-pop, for example, music labels know the negative reception change can have on listeners, so they avoid it. This sameness has worked in some of the biggest groups in K-pop. K-pop labels create an image for their groups that come with one specific sound. This sound becomes their thing, and they avoid changing it. However, BTS is a little more transparent and raw than that. BTS's sound direction over the years has been a little bit of a mess, for a lack of a better word. BTS started with one sound, then they changed it to something else. Then they evolved their first sound, then they started a new one, then another one, then they evolved an old one, and so on. BTS's music changed from rebellious to romantic, from angry to sad, from sexy to inspirational. Change is part of BTS's life, and they will show it in their songs, even if these changes are dramatic. The result is art that is painful, cruel, but also fun and beautiful. This is why I believe the phrase "I miss BTS's old sound" is just an excuse.
Yeah. That's the thing. I like that she put on here BTS era. Certain eras gonna give you certain types of visuals. It's gonna give you certain types of feelings. And the thing about art is timeless, you guys. You can always go back to that song that you enjoy and enjoy it, bro. You gotta hang on to those moments and hang on to those songs that make you feel a certain type of way, and not try to force because the reason that that art was so good is because they was in that era. They was feeling those type of feelings and they was genuine. But you can't force genuine things, bro. Genuine things have to naturally happen. That's why they genuine.
Just like many artists, BTS has gone through many changes that fans refer to as eras. One thing that I wanted to highlight is that when people complain about BTS's new eras and say they miss their old ones, they usually mean that they miss one of their old sounds, because their composition is not addressed as much. The message, form, and attitude in the lyrics BTS compose now are not at all the same as they used to be, but you won't see people praising or criticizing their change of lyrics, because it's not easy. Judging sound is easy and convenient. If you go beyond the sound and the aesthetics, you will notice that BTS's lyrics change accordingly. When BTS was in high school or just graduated from high school, their lyrics and sound were rebellious and youthful. So obviously, their school trilogy reflected their lives and thoughts in school. As they transitioned into adulthood, the rebelliousness in school transformed into rebelliousness in society and life. The result is Dark and Wild, an angrier album with heavier rock sounds. In their youth era, they left their teenage days behind. They already experienced what it's like being an adult, so they reflect on life and youth. However, the more independent you get, the more you notice the difficulties of adulthood. Things like temptation, violence, the darkest aspects of society, and the search for freedom are the main themes of the Wings era. The healing of these traumas is more visible in their Love Yourself trilogy, an era with tons of reflection and inspirational messages.
Bro, this is a very well put together video. This is basically showing how they evolve. Like I was just talking about, as you go throughout your life, you're going to evolve. And as you evolve, your art evolves. Your art reflects the issues and situations that you're going through. So just like she said, whenever they was in high school, their issues were different from when they was transitioning to adults, because the responsibility is different, the burden's different, and now they got different topics to speak about. So they can't go back and talk from a high school point of view because they're not in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Y'all got to cut them some slack and be real, bro.
After accepting themselves and building confidence, the BTS members ask themselves, who am I? In the Map of the Soul era. These albums are an exploration of self-identity, both as humans and as artists. Then the pandemic started. So their confusions, worries, coping mechanisms, and messages of hope of the future are reflected in the B era, which includes both uplifting and distracting songs and an intricate album describing their pandemic experience. Finally, before starting their mandatory military service, BTS released a compilation album of their most representative Japanese songs and an anthology album which compiles the songs that represent the members as a group, as solo artists, and as people. This anthology album also has 3 new songs that explain BTS's thoughts on their comeback and future after their military service. On the side, the BTS members released solo projects that reflected their personal journeys as well. My point is that, just like all of us, BTS has gone through many changes in their lives. They will not hide these changes in their artistic expression. To the contrary, they will reflect their personal changes in their music. In the past 11 years, BTS has made music as teenagers, young adults, and now they continue making music as they enter their 30s. This range of age is so important in someone's life because change will happen. And I think it's beautiful that BTS has never hidden the multiple changes in their lives. They actually highlight and celebrate change. Over the years, people have criticized BTS's quote-unquote new artistic direction. But as you can see, there was never an old sound and a new sound. Change is a core part of BTS's discography. If one year they released a new sound, in the next year or even in the next months, they will release other sounds. There's no before and after, just constant change.
And it's a perfect representation of a person's life. It's not streamlined. It's not straightforward. It's not one sound. It's not one emotion. It's messy, bro. It's messy, and not only is it messy, but you can find beauty in that, and that's what the art is. That's what the music is. It's finding the beauty in the struggle. It's finding the beauty in the messiness and orchestrating it in a way to where people can actually fall in love with it. People can actually relate to it. And this is one of those things, as an artist, you got to stop listening to the white noise. You got to stop listening to the static that all of these people saying, because this type of art is going to transcend time. It's going to be people 30, 40, 50 years from now who are going to be able to go back and listen to their song. No matter what age they are, they got different types of eras that they can listen to, and that's what it's about. I hope that other K-pop artists can learn from something like this And hopefully they actually watch videos like this so that they can, evolve their sound over the time in their career, because they go through their own individual things as well. I think it would be very, very interesting to see how BTS's rollout and career affect other K-pop artists, and not necessarily other K-pop artists trying to be BTS or chase them, but for them to understand that their music can evolve, their music can be more than just what the company want them to be. And that's gonna take a little bit of work, especially with between the artist and the actual company. But if they actually want it to happen, and they actually take the time to show the company that this is what's going transcend time, then I think the company will definitely be on par with taking their lead. So let's put the
Another thing about the BTS eras is that although they usually reflect one sentiment or overall vibe, the sound also changes within the same era or the same album. Here's one example. Some people have this idea of the Youth trilogy as this era with soft songs and angelical voices. This era is more recognizable for their sentimental view of life. After this era, they released Wings, which was more angsty and even seductive. Then, the Love Yourself trilogy included more songs with EDM influences. Their next eras, Love Yourself, Map of the Soul, and B, included fun and happy songs people can dance to. So, I can say that I miss the sentimental view of life BTS had before. Now, they have these other sounds that I don't like. They fell off. What I just did there was nitpicking. I picked and chose certain songs to create the narrative that BTS had a before and an after in their music. In reality, the Youth trilogy is more than just soft songs with a sentimental view of life. The Youth era also had the angsty message with a seductive sound from their future Wings era. The Youth era had the EDM sound they would then evolve in their Love Yourself era.
Facts.
And the Youth era did have fun and happy songs people can dance to.
I ain't gonna lie, she eating y'all up. For all y'all people who say that BTS fell off or they missed their old sound, bro. She eating y'all up. She showing you that it's really just evolution. She breaking this video down really good.
The same way, people pick and choose certain songs from any BTS era and claim this was their old sound. This is an excuse to criticize everything new BTS releases. But this makes no sense because their projects don't have one and only one sound. The rebelliousness and anger from their School trilogy and Dark and Wild remain throughout all of their recent eras. Their sentimental view of life from the Youth era remains throughout their recent eras as well. This also happens with their solo projects. For example, in one year, J-Hope produced 2 albums with different hip-hop sounds, a more modern, mostly aggressive hip-hop with a rock vibe, and a street dance hip-hop inspired by his childhood. Although he released the first album in 2022 and the second one in 2024, he made both albums within the same year. He only released his second album later because of his military service. So as you can see, an artist or any person may experience changes within the same year. And just like J-Hope, it's very difficult for a person to have one sound or style. You don't watch the same genre of movie all the time, and you don't like just one flavor. You like a bunch. Personalities and preferences are complicated. So true artistic expression is complicated as well. So why do people pick and choose? Why do they refuse to see the overall picture? Sometimes this sentiment of missing or nostalgia is real. While it's true that some of this criticism comes from haters who want to hate, others don't do this intentionally. Like I said, not only BTS receives these comments, most artists do. And I
Facts.
think this usually has to do with an idealized perception of music. In this case, an idealized perception of BTS's music. People create an ideal version of BTS or any artist based on how they first found them and fell
Facts.
in love with their music. People find
Facts.
BTS in a certain place with a certain sound. Then they look for this sound in their entire discography, unintentionally ignoring their variety of sounds. So when the new albums drop, they are faced with reality. BTS doesn't have one sound, they have many, and their next single will most probably be a new sound. Your favorite sound will come back at some point, but you already have in your mind that they change.
Facts.
In every single era, in every release of an album, people say that they miss the old BTS sound. For example, Blood, Sweat and Tears was one of the songs that got them a lot of worldwide fans.
I gotta listen to that.
Of course, when they changed their sound, people kept saying that they missed the art from Blood, Sweat and Tears. They don't find it in DNA, they don't find it in Mic Drop, they don't find it in Boy With Love. But I know that the ones who loved Blood, Sweat and Tears in 2016 would have loved Black Swan in 2020. People sometimes unintentionally create their own BTS by highlighting their favorite sound and ignoring the rest.
Bro, they just trying to be versatile and actually be creative, bro. Whenever you creative, you don't want to remake the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, bro. That's boring. That's lame to people, especially people who go through different type of things, different type of emotions. Sometimes you have like certain art inside of you that you want to let out, but you be scared that your audience not gonna want to see it, or you know your audience not gonna really like what you put out. But the only way that you can get back to those pieces of art that people really love is to get that art out. Every single piece is not gonna be the same. Every single piece is not gonna be a hit. Simple. Well, with BTS, you know, at the point that they at, every video gonna be a hit. But you get what I'm saying.
This is how they create a dishonest before and after. Sometimes people are unconsciously in the lookout for change to criticize it. For example, there's this popular tweet of a BTS fan saying that they miss the old BTS. They tweeted this in November of 2013, and BTS debuted in June of 2013. Not even 6 months into their career, and they are already receiving these comments. I think this goes back to our own idealized perceptions of music. This is also the reason why every generation says that they miss the music from back in their days. That was actual good music. That was real music. Everything new is just not the same. They create this perception because it's how they first discovered, perceived, and enjoyed music.
Yeah. I think going forward, especially as somebody who grew up around a lot of old heads, I want people to let go of this. Oh, the old stuff was better. The old things were... No, we need to step away from criticizing new stuff and criticizing all of the stuff that we be going through. And instead of putting all of our focus on the negativity, we need to say, how can we optimize the stuff that we have now? How can we make this better? How can we improve this rather than complaining and crying about the past? And anybody out there who, you know, you got passions or you trying to do something new, or don't worry about the stuff that everybody say. All you need to focus on is how can I make this better? How can I improve this? How can I, you know what I'm saying? And don't be scared of criticism as well, you know? Don't allow people to put you in a box, but also feel free to ask for people's opinion. And if people go give criticism and not offer a solid solution, then they don't want to see you win. They're not there for your benefit, and you need to throw them to the wayside.
I think this judgment is specifically unfair to BTS because although their sound has drastically evolved over the years, they never completely left behind their old sounds. They don't abandon their music, they expand it. Like I said, I think that the ones who loved Blood, Sweat and Tears in 2016 would have loved Black Swan in 2020. Now, if your response to this is that Black Swan is similar but not the same as Blood, Sweat and Tears, then I beg you to go out and practice some critical thinking. Of course, these songs are not going to be exactly the same. That is just disingenuous and lazy. BTS will give you the same vibe or even the same sound in some new projects, but these songs will not be identical. So here are some examples of how some new BTS songs remind me of old ones. The The fun and upbeat hip-hop based Dope from 2015 had a cool choreography, fast-paced raps, and a melodic chorus about hard work. So did Mic Drop in 2017
Okay.
and Run BTS in 2022. You can relive the romantic old-school trilogy songs like Just One Day, Miss Right, and Like in August's SDL from 2023. You can find fast-paced raps over the sound of traditional Korean instruments in Den from 2018, Dekita from 2020, and Hagen from 2023.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The playfulness and sweetness of the sound in Closer Than This remind me of the sound in Fly to My Room.
Closer Than This was really good.
Reminds me of J-Hope's Boy Meets Evil from 2016. In Take Two from 2023, BTS continued their classical pop sound with uplifting messages of songs like Love Myself and Microcosmos. The soulful sound of Stigma from 2016 is also present in Blue in 2023.
Bro, I gotta get into some more BTS. Dang.
If you miss the old sound with non-stop changes and a complicated choreography like Not Today in 2017, you can listen to On from 2020 or Set Me Free Part 2 from 2023. The funky hip-hop sound of My City from 2015 is also present in Disease from 2020 and Lock Unlock from 2024. And let's not forget BTS's Map of the Soul era, in which they reimagined their school trilogy.
Let's go.
Bro, if they reimagine these songs and made them, bro, I'm not gonna lie, none of y'all are valid to say that y'all missed the old BTS if they remade some songs. A lot of artists wouldn't do this, I'm not gonna lie.
진짜 뭐였지? I wanna be rocked. I want it on mine. I wanna be weak. Exclusive.
Hold up.
No more I Need
I need
BTS
that.
sound. I'm tired of that false narrative, and it seems like BTS is too. One more thing I want to say. In order to make this video and make this list of songs, I had to change my perception for a minute. I had to analyze the exact ways in which BTS change, and I had to think the same way people who miss the old BTS do. I had to connect their new songs to their old songs. And with that experience, my question is, why are you doing this? As I was listening to their new songs to make this list, I got distracted with some amazing songs we wouldn't have gotten if BTS stayed with their first song. I listened to Wildflower, for example, and I realized that it doesn't remind me of any old song. But how am I supposed to ignore and move on from Wildflower? Picking and choosing is so exhausting and boring. It's a miserable way of thinking, and I don't understand how people do this all the time.
Yeah, I think those people who do that really just got nothing better to do with their time. They want attention. They want some lashback. They want some type of attention, literally. I don't understand it. I'm glad that you actually put yourself in somebody else's shoes, because that's the only way you'll really understand somebody. Is actually trying to understand them. A lot of the times when we go throughout life and somebody combat us, we don't actually try to understand their point of view. We try to put up our defense. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the right way to go if you actually want to learn something from the situation. And even in the music, I respect the fact that, like, That's why you want to evolve. That's why you want to improve, because the only way that you gonna find a new sound that people gonna really really love, something that's revolutionary, is to experiment, is to evolve. And you can look at different times in history to understand that. Whenever we go through and we look at the light bulb, of course we could have stuck with, having a kerosene lamp and lighting it on fire. Of course we could have did that. But somebody decided, why not do a light bulb so that we could be a little bit more versatile, so that it could be a little bit more safe. You know what I'm saying? If nobody ever decided to do that and actually try something new and evolve, we would still be dependent on fire. Everything would be a lot different. And you have to evolve in order to be better, in order to establish something new. And that's the way life works, for real, for real.
Flash change, people change, everything change. Yeah.
In conclusion, don't take BTS's one sound that you like as their one and only sound, because that will bring disappointment. Actually, don't do this with any artist. People change over time because they go through different stuff over time. People leave school, find love, have their heart broken. They find disappointment and success. People get married, divorce, have kids, and go through unescapable societal changes.
Facts.
When BTS comes back from the military, don't expect one specific sound from the past.
Yeah.
There will be some kind of musical change because they went through a major life change.
Facts.
It's unnatural to maintain the same sound. Let me give you an example from a rock band. System of a Down is a band that released 5 albums from 1998 to 2005. They are still a band and occasionally tour, but it's been almost 20 years since they released their last album. These 5 albums have what people consider the System of a Down sound, and this sound has given them praise and complaints. Some people say that their songs are too similar to each other, and others cannot get enough of this sound. In 2018,
Facts.
the band explained why.
That's another thing, bro. I swear people can never be like happy or proud for anybody. On one hand, I hear people say, oh, you fell off, I miss your old sound. And then on the complete other end, you'll have people say, like, about people like DaBaby, or some of y'all probably don't know some of these artists, but for the people who do, they'll say people like DaBaby or YoungBoy or some of the newer artists, they'll say, oh, they sound the same in every single song. Do y'all want them to change up the sound, or do y'all want them to sound the same every song? I don't understand what y'all want, bro.
They decided to stop making music. While some members wanted to continue with the band's sound and even composed songs that will never see the light of day, others wanted to find new sounds and new artistic directions. This is a kind of positive example. The band members are still friends and agreed to tour, but ultimately they decided to stop change. They decided to keep their musical catalog short and stuck in one sound. I'm not saying this is bad. Like I said, this is kind of a positive example because most bands break up. But BTS never run away from change. BTS are risk takers, and they will shamelessly expand their sound. Once you accept this, listening to BTS's music can be the most fun experience. Sometimes they will recall and evolve the sound you fell in love with, and other times they will lead you through a new unknown adventure.
Bro, this was a great video. If y'all want to check out the original video, feel free to go down to the comment section and check it out. I definitely took a lot from this, and it gave me a new perspective, especially not only looking at some of the newer groups and how they can evolve over time, but also looking at like art and in its purest form as like evolution. It's really like a great testament to history, not only of the artist, but of like the times that we live in, bro. We really do have to appreciate art. We have to appreciate people who make art, who make like content, who make anything special, because as time goes on, we'll never be able to experience that thing for the first time. We'll never be able to relive that first moment. And whenever you go throughout your day and you experiencing things for the first moment, really appreciate it, really fall in love with it, really, really like enjoy it, because you'll never get that moment again. Dang, bro. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comment section. Do y'all think people just criticize for no apparent reason? Or do you think people just challenging artists to, be better, to, push themselves? I don't know. I feel like nobody ever gonna be satisfied with you. So you really just have to, do your best and, take your own lead and do what you think is most representative of the legacy you want to leave behind. Because at the end of the day, as an artist, it's about your legacy. It's about what you want to put out there. And obviously the people who consume your art play a big role in that. But the biggest person in this situation is the person making the art, because without you, they ain't got nothing to criticize. Without you, they ain't got nothing to consume. So any artists out there, any people out there, I just, give artists grace, and artists, give yourself grace, bro. Anyways, this was a great video. I can't wait to see more from BTS. We're gonna have to check out some BTS. I'm actually really on my grind. I'm about to start really grinding on the tube, bro. I recently started doing a new editing style. You'll probably see it on this video. I think it really made me enjoy content a lot more, because it's kind of like the idea that I really wanted to do on this channel. So we gotta grind, we gotta hustle. I got so many plans, but I gotta put the work in and handle my business. Give me one of these little 9 to 5 so I can stack my bread, and then we go get to it. I'm about to change the whole K-pop reaction space, K-pop content space, bro. Anyways, I'm out. Peace and love. Hope you have a great day. Go out there, create something beautiful, and don't let nobody tear you down.